Welcome, everyone, to vpod.ai. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me today is our resident expert, Susan.
It's really great to be here today.
You can sponsor this podcast for just $25. Your message will be featured across major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and more. If you're interested, visit vpod.ai to get started today.
Such a great opportunity, honestly.
It really is. So let's jump right in. Picture this. You are standing in the pharmacy aisle, right?
Oh, yeah, with those awful fluorescent lights just humming overhead.
Exactly. And you are staring down literally rows upon rows of vitamin and mineral bottles. I mean, you've got the soft gels, the gummies, the giant plastic tubs of powder.
Completely overwhelming.
Right. And looking at all these beautifully packaged promises of health, it is incredibly easy to make a very specific assumption. We look at them and think, well, they are sold right here over the counter.
Like anyone can just walk in and buy them.
Yeah, so they must be universally good for us.
We constantly equate that ease of availability with, complete biological safety. It's a very natural cognitive leap to make.
For sure.
Because if a little bit of this compound is required for my body to function, then packing in a massive dose must be like the ultimate health hack. If one pill prevents a deficiency, 3 will make me invincible.
And that is the exact trap we're unpacking today. We are exploring the whole paradox of dietary supplements.
Right, because people take these substances with the absolute best of intentions. They just want to improve their health.
Exactly. They want to prevent disease. But the reality is that operating under that whole more is better philosophy can lead to completely unexpected and honestly highly toxic biological backfires.
It is particularly interesting because actual clinical vitamin deficiencies are remarkably rare in modern Western countries.
Right. I mean, we aren't out there fighting scurvy on pirate ships anymore.
Exactly. Our modern fortified food supply generally gives us enough of the baseline nutrients to just survive and function.
But the wellness industry, it pushes people toward a heavy, isolated supplementation. Everyone is chasing optimal performance.
Yeah, and when we cross that invisible line from biological enough into concentrated excess, we severely disrupt the body's deeply interconnected chemistry.
Okay, so before we get into the scary stuff, like the toxicities and the cellular sabotage,
Yeah,
I feel like we have to establish a realistic baseline.
absolutely. We definitely don't want people throwing away their standard morning routine if they don't need to.
Right. There has to be a distinction between sensible, targeted use and just blind overconsumption. So for an otherwise healthy individual, taking a standard daily multivitamin is generally considered quite safe.
Yes, very safe. It's often recommended just to round out a normal diet. Taking a standard multivitamin is essentially a biological safety
A
net.
safety net, I like that.
It just catches the micro deficiencies you might have missed in your meals that day.
I always think of it like a basic health insurance policy. You try to eat your greens, you try to get some sun, but, life happens.
You end up eating takeout 3 days in a row while working late.
Exactly. That multivitamin is just there to cover the gaps. The baseline policy.
And doses that stay at or near the official dietary reference intakes are highly unlikely to cause any harm at all.
Okay, so sticking to the actual recommended daily amounts is fine.
Right. Those reference intakes are meticulously calculated by scientific bodies all around the world. They evaluate the exact physiological requirement for a nutrient based on age, biological sex, and specific physiological states.
Like pregnancy, right?
Exactly, like pregnancy. They even factor in concurrent disease states. The limits are specifically tailored to human biology, not arbitrary marketing numbers.
Okay, but if a basic insurance policy is good, my instinct as a consumer is that buying extra coverage in the form of massive individual doses of vitamins should be even better.
That's what most people think, yeah.
Right, because if I walk into the store and grab a giant bottle of purely one isolated mineral, I'm just upgrading my policy. I want maximum coverage.
Well, the problem is your body doesn't work like a financial institution. It operates as a delicate, closed-loop biological ecosystem.
So no banking extra vitamins for later.
No, not usually. When you push past those tailored limits, you force the body to handle chemical concentrations. It was never evolved to process at one single time.
Wow, okay.
Now, some vitamins are surprisingly forgiving. Thiamine and riboflavin, for example, remain relatively benign even if you take them at doses several times higher than the recommended levels.
That's because they are water soluble, right?
Yeah.
The body just processes what it needs and literally flushes the excess down the drain.
Exactly. The renal system easily filters them out without much stress on the kidneys or the surrounding tissues.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we also have to acknowledge that specific high-dose supplements are absolute medical necessities for certain preventative measures. Folic acid is the classic example here.
Oh, sure, for pregnant women.
Right. It is routinely and strongly recommended for women of childbearing age because we have massive amounts of clinical data showing it is highly effective at preventing neural tube defects in developing embryos.
Because the biology there actually requires a specific saturation of the tissue.
Yes, exactly.
So we aren't saying all isolated supplements are inherently bad. We are saying that specific biochemical tools have specific scientifically validated purposes.
Perfectly said. The real danger seems to arise when consumers act as their own pharmacists.
Oh man, yeah. People taking it upon themselves to massively exceed those daily limits with individual minerals.
Just assuming they are giving their body more fuel. But the immediate physical consequences of that high-dose isolated mineral hitting the digestive tract are severe.
So we're talking stomach issues.
Oh, yes. Minerals taken as concentrated supplements can be highly disruptive and downright toxic to your gastrointestinal system. Magnesium is a perfect starting point here.
Magnesium is everywhere right now. People are taking it for sleep, for muscle recovery, for stress. It's like the trendy miracle mineral.
It really is. But taking doses of magnesium above 400 milligrams per day frequently causes severe diarrhea.
Yikes. Just from a daily pill.
Yes. The mechanism here is purely osmotic. Your intestinal lining has a maximum rate at which it can transport magnesium molecules across the cellular barrier and into the bloodstream.
Okay, so when you drop a massive concentrated dose of magnesium into the gut,
You instantly max out those transporters.
so the unabsorbed magnesium is just sitting there in the intestines.
Exactly. And because magnesium ions are highly osmotically active, that unabsorbed mineral acts like a powerful chemical sponge.
A sponge.
Yeah, it physically draws water out of the surrounding intestinal tissues and blood vessels, flooding the bowel with fluid. That rapid influx of water is what causes the sudden explosive diarrhea.
Wow. That makes so much more sense than just saying it upsets your stomach. I always imagine the gut like a factory, and if you dump too much raw material in, the assembly line just jams.
That's a common way to think about it.
But it's actually more like an exclusive nightclub with a strict capacity. Your
Yeah.
intestinal lining is the bouncer.
Oh, I like that bouncer analogy.
Right. If 1,000 magnesium molecules show up at the door all at once, the bouncer's only let in 50.
Mm-hmm.
The other 950 are left stranded outside in the alley of your gut.
Yes.
And to clear out that angry mob, the body turns on the fire hoses, the osmotic water, and just flushes the whole street out.
That is a highly accurate, if slightly graphic, biological picture.
Hey, whatever helps it stick.
Well, evolutionarily, human beings never encountered pure elemental magnesium in isolation. We encountered it bound up in fiber, like in a leaf of spinach, which takes hours to break down.
We never evolved to handle a pure chemical dump.
Exactly. And this osmotic flushing applies to phosphorus as well. Consuming doses of phosphorus above 750 milligrams per day causes that exact same osmotic diarrhea.
This is not just magnesium.
No, and even at lower doses, phosphorus triggers mild nausea and vomiting because the concentrated mineral physically irritates the gastric mucosal lining.
So your stomach senses a caustic environment and literally tries to eject it.
You got it.
And we can't ignore iron either. High doses of iron are notorious for causing horrible constipation, along with nausea.
Right. Iron operates slightly differently, but with equally miserable results. Free iron in the gut can alter the local microbiome and decrease the motility of the intestines.
It slows things down.
Yeah, it basically slows down the peristaltic muscle contractions that move waste through your system, leading to severe backup.
That's wild. People are probably writing off their morning nausea as something they ate for dinner. They're totally unaware it's their daily health routine causing it.
It happens all the time.
Someone could be waking up with nausea, dealing with chronic digestive issues, cutting out gluten or dairy, trying to find the culprit.
And totally missing the fact that the pill they take at 7 a.m. is the thing drawing all the water into their bowel or paralyzing their digestive muscles.
That is mind-blowing. People rarely suspect the supplement.
Because they assume health products can only produce health, they don't recognize them as potent, concentrated chemical compounds that dictate fluid dynamics in the gut.
Man, Okay, so the temporary stomach upset, the osmotic flushing, and the nausea is awful. But what happens to the minerals that actually make it past the bouncers?
The ones that get into the bloodstream.
Yeah, this is where the biological interconnectedness gets alarming, right?
Yeah.
Because we are talking about a systemic domino effect.
We really are. When you flood the system with one specific mineral, it actively sabotages the body's ability to process and utilize other essential nutrients.
Because they share pathways.
Exactly. Minerals frequently share the exact same transport proteins and absorption pathways in the small intestine.
It's basically a game of molecular musical chairs.
That's exactly what it is.
The body only has a limited number of transport proteins, so if you dump a massive amount of iron into the system, iron rushes in and takes up all the available seats.
Right. Excess iron actively blocks the absorption of zinc. The zinc molecules physically cannot bind to the transporters because the iron has oversaturated them.
Wow. So you might have plenty of zinc in your diet, but your body is forced to excrete it because iron is monopolizing the doorway.
Yep. Furthermore, the consequences of excess iron are deeply dangerous for people with an undiagnosed genetic condition called hemochromatosis.
Oh, I've heard of hemochromatosis. That's an iron overload disorder, right?
Yes. Normally, the body has a shutoff valve. Once you have enough iron, the liver releases a hormone called hepcidin that tells the gut to stop absorbing it.
But in hemochromatosis, that doesn't happen.
Right. In hemochromatosis, that shutoff valve is broken. The body just keeps absorbing iron relentlessly.
Oh, geez.
If someone with this condition takes iron supplements indiscriminately, that excess iron deposits directly into the major organs, like the liver, the heart, the pancreas.
It sounds terrible.
It causes severe oxidative tissue damage and potentially fatal organ failure.
So iron steals zinc's transport chairs and can literally rust your organs if your genetic shutoff valve is faulty.
That's a very serious situation.
Let's trace that zinc connection further, actually. If my iron supplement is blocking my zinc, my natural reaction as a consumer is to go buy a massive dose of zinc to compensate.
Which is what many people do.
Right. So if I take a huge 100-milligram zinc pill, what happens?
Well, aside from triggering the nausea and vomiting we discussed earlier, excessive zinc causes a profound biological backfire.
Immunosuppression.
Wait, this completely breaks my brain. Immunosuppression. From zinc.
Yes, from zinc.
But the entire marketing apparatus around cold and flu season is built on zinc lozenges and immune-boosting zinc pills. You are telling me taking too much actively destroys the immune system.
It does. Biologically, a normal baseline level of zinc is absolutely vital for the development and function of immune cells, particularly T cells.
Okay, so we need some of it.
We do. But the immune system relies on a very delicate chemical gradient. When you overwhelm the system with highly concentrated zinc, it actually impairs T cell function and alters the ratio of helper T cells to suppressor T cells.
Oh, wow.
The high concentration becomes toxic to the very cells it's supposed to support. It dampens the immune response rather than elevating it. It's like the body is not a video game character. You can't just drink a health potion, watch your stat bar go up, and assume 10 potions makes you a god.
That is a brilliant way to put it. No, you definitely cannot.
It's an interconnected web.
Yeah.
If you introduce an apex predator like megadose zinc, the whole chemical food web collapses.
And to make matters worse, that excessive zinc also shares an absorption pathway with copper.
So it blocks copper, too.
Exactly. So the megadose of zinc monopolizes the transport proteins, leaving you with a severe copper deficiency, which brings its own host of neurological and hematological problems.
Man, you really cannot turn one biological dial up to the absolute maximum without breaking another part of the machine.
You really can't. Everything is connected.
Are there other examples of this kind of severe systemic toxicity? Things people are taking every day without realizing the cellular damage they are causing?
Oh, absolutely. Selenium is a deeply troubling example.
Selenium. What does that do?
Well, if a person consumes more than 0.91 milligrams per day of selenium, the biochemical side effects become severe.
Less than a single milligram.
Yes. The body incorporates selenium into certain proteins, known as selenoproteins. When there is far too much of it, the body starts improperly substituting selenium for sulfur in the structural proteins of keratin.
Keratin, like in hair and nail.
Exactly. This results in structural malformations. The physical outcome is brittle hair that breaks off, nails that crack and fall off, and significant gastrointestinal upset.
Wait, I remember reading about selenium toxicity causing peripheral neuropathies, too. Actual nerve damage. Is that true?
It is true. Chronic high-dose selenium damages the myelin sheath, which is the protective coating around your nerves, and it disrupts nerve signaling.
That is terrifying.
People develop tingling, numbness, and burning pain in their hands and feet. A direct structural degradation of the nervous system resulting entirely from an over-the-counter mineral supplement.
Taking a pill for general wellness and ending up with structural nerve damage. It really shatters that illusion of safety.
It should. Another serious clinical example involves beta-carotene.
I know that one. It's in carrots, right?
Yes, it is a precursor to vitamin A, and it's widely recognized as an antioxidant. Consumers take it hoping to scavenge free radicals and protect their cells from aging and disease.
Right. Antioxidants are supposed to be the good guys.
Usually, yes. But extensive clinical trials have shown that in smokers, high intake of beta-carotene actually increases the risk of developing lung cancer.
Wait, what? How does an antioxidant cause cancer? That feels chemically backwards.
It comes down to the specific chemical environment of the tissue. Antioxidants work by donating an electron to neutralize free radicals.
Okay, following so far.
But the lungs of a chronic smoker are under massive oxidative stress. It is a highly volatile local environment. When you introduce huge, concentrated amounts of beta-carotene into that specific volatility, the beta-carotene molecule donates its electron and then becomes highly unstable itself.
Oh no, so it flips.
Yes. Because of the surrounding smoke-induced oxidation, it cannot regenerate. It stops acting as an antioxidant and flips into a pro-oxidant.
That sounds really bad.
It is. It actively promotes the cellular DNA damage that drives malignant tumor growth.
The chemical context dictates everything. Iron blocking zinc, zinc suppressing T cells and blocking copper, selenium melting nerve coatings,
It's all about balance.
and beta-carotene turning into a pro-oxidant tumor fuel in smokers. The sheer complexity of the chemistry happening inside of us based on a casual purchase from the pharmacy aisle is mind-blowing.
The underlying chemistry proves exactly why the more is better philosophy is biologically reckless. We are introducing powerful, concentrated variables into a highly calibrated machine.
Right, so if flooding this system with one mineral completely shuts down the absorption of another, or literally damages nerves, the obvious question is, why isn't anyone stopping us from doing this?
That is a million-dollar question.
Like, where are the guardrails? I can't walk into a pharmacy and buy prescription-strength antibiotics without a doctor, but I can buy a tub of nerve-damaging selenium.
The regulatory gap is massive. In both professional medical literature and consumer media, the potential harms of supplementation receive virtually no attention compared to the perceived benefits.
People just assume it's safe.
There is a deeply ingrained cultural bias toward assuming natural supplements are harmless. Because of this blind spot, medical professionals are currently being urged to overhaul how they conduct patient intake screenings.
It drives me crazy that these bottles don't have... An international body would be cracking down on this.
You would think so, yeah?
What is a doctor actually supposed to do during a screening to fix this?
A physician needs to proactively interrogate the exact use and precise dosages of every supplement. They have to ask, which specific mineral are you taking? What is the exact milligram count? And how many times a day are you swallowing it?
They need all the details.
Only with that granular data can a doctor optimize a patient's nutrient intake, spot the osmotic diarrhea being caused by magnesium, or prevent the copper deficiency being driven by zinc.
We really have this glaring double standard. We respect prescription medications because they come in an orange bottle with a long list of terrifying side effects and a mandatory pharmacist consultation.
Right, you take this seriously.
Meanwhile, we have supplements causing T-cell suppression and increasing lung cancer risks, and they are placed on an end cap next to the breath mints, literally shaped like cherry-flavored gummy bears.
It highlights how drastically packaging and labeling laws shape consumer psychology. The presentation implies total safety.
Have any governments actually stepped up to force companies to be more transparent about these toxicity thresholds?
Actually, yes. The European Union has recently taken definitive action to combat this exact issue.
Oh, good for them.
They adopted strict labeling standards for dietary supplements. Manufacturers in the EU are now required to list the exact percentage of a person's safe daily intake that is represented by a single dose of the product.
That's great. It immediately contextualizes the dose. If one pill provides 800% of your daily limit, it is staring you right in the face.
Exactly, but the most critical component is that the EU now mandates explicit toxicity warnings on the labels where appropriate.
A warning label right on the bottle that says, "Do not exceed this dose or you risk severe nerve damage." That seems like basic common sense to me.
It really does.
Right now, the EU is leading the charge, but honestly, it's still up in the air whether places like Canada or the US will follow suit and mandate that level of transparency.
The push for biological reality and labeling is an ongoing battle in North America. The industry is highly resistant to treating their products like medications.
So what do we do in the meantime?
It is entirely on the consumer to bridge that gap. You must treat concentrated dietary supplements with the exact same clinical respect and the exact same caution as a prescribed pharmaceutical.
Treat it like medicine.
Yes. The best protective measure is to meticulously catalog every single supplement you take, including the exact milligram dosages, and hand that list directly to your doctor at your next visit.
Never assume that because a compound is sold over the counter or derived from a natural source, it is biologically benign.
Never.
Okay, let's bring all of this together. The core biological lesson here is that basic vitamin insurance is generally safe. Taking a standard multivitamin to cover the nutritional gaps of modern life is perfectly fine.
Completely fine.
But treating the supplement aisle like an all-you-can-eat buffet triggers chaotic, unintended toxicities.
We have to abandon the idea that our bodies are empty vessels that just need to be filled to the brim with raw materials. They are finely tuned, interconnected systems reliant on delicate chemical gradients.
You might think you are optimizing your health by swallowing giant doses of isolated minerals, but instead you are overwhelming the gut's transport bouncers, causing osmotic diarrhea.
Yes.
You are engaging in cellular sabotage, where iron physically blocks zinc from entering the bloodstream, and excessive zinc paralyzes your T cells and depletes your copper.
Exactly right.
And in the most severe cases, you are looking at structural nerve damage from selenium or flipping antioxidants into pro-oxidants.
The biology simply does not support the more is better mindset.
Which brings us back to where we started. Standing in that pharmacy aisle, looking at those fluorescent-lit bottles, I think we will all look at them a little differently now.
I hope so.
Not as harmless wellness candies, but as potent biological agents that demand our respect.
Knowing that the European Union felt compelled to mandate actual toxicity warnings on everyday vitamins, and seeing how easily a supposedly healthy habit can completely destabilize our internal chemistry. Well, I want to leave you with a final thought.
I'm ready.
It makes you wonder, what other daily routines or easily accessible over-the-counter remedies are we blindly consuming day after day just to be safe, completely unaware that we might be actively tipping our biological scales in the wrong direction?
That is a phenomenal question to chew on. A huge thank you to everyone for joining us today and exploring this incredible biological paradox. Remember to read the exact milligrams on those labels, map out your actual intake with your doctor, and treat your body's ecosystem with the precise care it deserves. Until next time, take care.